I'm being joined by Erik Guthrie, who is the curator of the Laser Tag Museum and also the vice president of sales for Zone Laser Tag. He's here to discuss the laser tag industry coming back through the COVID-19 pandemic. Hi, Erik. How are you?
Doing very well, Lori. How are you?
Very good. Now, this has been an interesting time window, to say the least. The COVID-19 pandemic has certainly changed so much of our world. And I'd love for you to talk to me a little bit about what the laser tag industry and the operators have been going through since the shutdown started happening.
Well, for most operators, the shutdown was very sudden. Personally, as an operator myself, my Ohio location received 8 hours notice from the time the governor issued the shutdown to the point that we had to close business. So there really wasn't a time to plan any course of action. We just had to react and shut down. In my Indiana location, we had a little bit of notice and we tried to operate as long as we could until such time, that all activities had to cease to prevent the transmission of the COVID disease. So from a lot of operators were unprepared. And unfortunately, the shutdown happened in two of the busiest months, grossing months in sales for the laser tag industry, March, April, May. If you look at that roughly 90-day window, those are often higher volume months for the industry. So it's already had a devastating impact. We know of operators who are not going to survive this. They will not make it out of this. Most operators had 30 days cash flow, maybe 6 weeks cash flow, but most operators weren't sitting around with 60 or 90 days of free cash flow. The loan program that issued by the government was haphazard at best, and some operators qualified and some operators didn't qualify. So it's been difficult for the industry as a whole, especially given that we deal with groups of people more than most other aspects of the entertainment industry.
Well, we are to a point now where we're starting to see some of the laser tag locations slowly beginning to reopen. So what are some of the challenges that operators are facing now, and how are they adapting in this new situation?
So the safety, the perception of the customer coming in and seeing that laser tag operators are safe. I've had phone calls personally where people have asked, do I disinfect the arena in between games? Which physically cannot be done. We can disinfect areas that people touch. We can disinfect near the bases. But, to that degree, as an operator myself, I can share my staff wears face masks. We do temperature scans of each other at the beginning of the shift to make sure no one is ill when they report in for work. We, do Lysol disinfectant wipes, and we also have UV wands that we run over all the packs in between games. We operate at 50% capacity. So when one set of packs go in, the other packs are being disinfected, vice versa, in between each game. We do something I haven't seen done in most centers, but we have a hand sanitizer at the outside of the briefing room. And we require everyone to hand sanitize before they even go in, before briefing. They've got to hand sanitize. So their hands are clean before they ever put the equipment on. We have an ozone generator. Great idea from a great friend of ours, DeVore, down in New Orleans. Gave me the idea right at the COVID outbreak beginning. So we bought ozone generators for the arena. We run those at night. Ozone has purportedly helped decrease the transmission and increase the kill rate of the virus when it's on surfaces. So we've done all these things as an operator. We've done all these things to create a safer environment. I can tell you, having worked in both of my locations over the weekends, I can share with you that none of the customers are coming in with masks, and none of the customers are actually worried about being near each other. So I think there's a cultural mind shift that has happened. I think most people are tired of being, in the position that we've had to be in to help spread the COVID-19 or help prevent the spread of COVID-19. But I can tell you, as an operator, customers are coming in and they just want to play laser tag and they want to have a great time. And that's the way it's been for the past 35 years for our industry.
You want to speak where masks are being encouraged, or is that really up to the individual?
So it's up to the individual as far as the players. We do not require masks, and I've not come across a laser tag facility that does require masks just yet. I believe Oregon and California will probably require masks, as those laser tags get open. California laser tags, as of a week ago, were still not open. There's some issues out there. My staff must wear masks. When I'm on the counter, obviously I wear a mask. We bought plexiglass sneeze guards for the stores. So I mean, there's all these little things that we've invested in heavily to make it safer for the customer. But then the customer comes in and they're not wearing a mask and they don't even care about the hand sanitizer. We do require them to do it, but the consumer today, I think, is just COVID burned out.
Well, over the last few months, we've heard a lot about social distancing, and Zone Laser Tag announced this week that they are rolling out a social distancing software innovation. And I'd love to ask you to tell me a little bit about it and what it does.
So social distancing, otherwise, I think we're going to rename it just so you get, again, the exclusive on that. Let me check what we're looking to rename it, just because we like to play on this stuff. But we refer to it in the press as social distancing. The reality, though, internally, we've referred to it as the Zone Proximity Alert System, ZPAS, right? I want to change that to Zone Alert Proximity Sensor, so it comes out to be ZAPS.
I like that.
So I would tell you, as of today, we're probably renaming the feature to ZAPS, Zone Alert Proximity Sensors. But the part that's really cool is that right now in the United States, particularly or worldwide, there's the 6 foot or 2 meter social distancing that's being suggested and heavily emphasized everywhere you go, 6 feet, 6 feet, 6 feet. So what we've done is we've been able to utilize technology already on our boards that was already built into our system. And we've been able to turn on these, we refer to them internally as beacons. We've turned on these beacons. And so these packs now have a radii, basically pulse around the pack that senses any other radii or any other indicators that come into it. So a 1 meter proximity for the pack and another player 1 meter creates 2 meters or 6 feet. And so that if 2 players come within their proximity to each other, the packs can be set for different stages and different warning levels, but you can get a warning level, just a quick audible alert. You can then set a second warning level, audible alert, and the phaser quits working for 4 or 5 seconds. A standard deactivation concept for Zone. We've been doing laser tag longer than anybody else in the industry. So we're just, why mess with something that we know that works? Just give them a deactivation, few seconds, they can't tag, they can't be tagged, and it gives them a chance to back away. And then we can also, if they become very repeated offenders, we can actually have the pack shut down, and just like a referee warning where they get simply deactivated completely out of the game until they see a staff member who can then use our mock mobile operation command system handheld device and click a button and reactivate them with appropriate warning to maintain distance. So all those levels are built into the system. The distance is built into the system. So it can be 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters, so you can make it as far as you want, but it's all based off of the pack, and it radiates outward.
Very good. So that really does alleviate some of the concern about people getting too close to one another.
Yeah, and tag, strangely enough, really should never have had that concern, just simply because the nature of laser tag is you in almost all systems you have an infrared emitter, and that infrared emitter actually needs distance to spread to actually properly transmit the code that's built onto that IR emitter. So this is where, like in some laser tag locations, you'll see signs like stay 5 feet away from each other. Well, those rules have been in place for 25 years. Even Photon, if I remember right, had rules about you had to maintain a certain distance away from each other. So it's interesting that we as an industry actually have been preaching the concept of distancing from each other for an enhanced game experience. If you're too close to each other, believe it or not, you'll often get data failure where packs won't register the tag. The player will see the laser beam hit the pack, but the pack won't register the tag. That's because the IR is too close. So ironically, we as an industry have promoted social distancing. We just didn't know to call it that.
How do you think, if at all, will this affect gameplay?
I personally don't think, I mean, I've been in my arenas and I've watched my games. I've got 2 arenas, both of them about 4,500 square feet, give or take, multi-level arenas. I've been in both of my arenas. I'll be in my Avon store tomorrow night. I'll be in my Toledo store on Saturday and Sunday. So I haven't seen it affect gameplay. I think, a well-designed arena, which I like to believe that I've got well-designed arenas. I've got one from Creative Works, a beautiful arena from Creative Works, and a beautiful one from Arc Studios. I've got 2 great arenas, and they both play very, very well. You and I have played. So I think our long shots are still good. I think, I think arena design is going to become even more important than ever. Not so much the equipment side, though we're pleased about the proximity sensors. But I think from a player point of view, the area that will be a little bit difficult will be those very competitive players. We have game formats. We have the world's largest laser tag tournament scene at Zone, and so Lord of the Rings will be completely different. You won't be able to play Lord of the Rings with the proximity sensor on, and that's the beautiful part is it's software. So our operators have total control over the software, and they can just click a button and turn the ZAPS on or turn the ZAPS off.
Does this create any enhanced opportunities for new types of gameplay?
Yeah, so this is very early, right? I mean, we just literally filed for the patent application a few weeks ago, for the patent pending. We just announced this. So there's a lot of possibilities of what we can do with this. And we've been actually really excited about what the beacons, which again have been built in the system, and just haven't ever been utilized. So we're really proud of that. So, like for example, we're testing out a game right now, which is like a Connect Four style game, where players are using the proximity sensor have to get within just enough to set off the alert, and that player one player is active, and their pack glows a special color, a special rapid lighting pattern, and then they've got to go basically get within proximity of another player, and then they basically pass the ball without tagging each other. And then once they've gotten 4 or 5 of these passed to different team members, then that 5th person can tag the base. If that 5th person goes in and tags the base, or anybody goes in and the connecting has not occurred, then the base won't be active. So we see this as a really cool game concept for small groups, for small corporation groups. So a lot of times we'll get a private reservation for 15 or 20 people, and all of a sudden we can do a game where you have to connect with your teammates. So we see really good applications coming in. We think the infection game is going to completely change with the Zone Alert proximity sensor. So we're excited about what we're doing with it. It's still a little too early for us to go into great detail, though.
Well, it's very clear about the why did this need to be developed, but maybe you could tell me a little bit about how it got developed. How did the creation of this happen?
So, we are unique in the laser tag industry, as in the fact that Zone, its core officers, what you would think of as the C-suite officers, all of us own and operate our own facilities. So Sean Holmes has his Box Hill location, for example. We have a location, in China, for our Chinese. Our Johan has a location, several locations in France. Peter has his location in Leicester. So a lot of us, higher ups in the company, without boasting, we all are operators. But that's the core. We are operators who created a laser tag system. Some manufacturers are laser tag manufacturers who don't even operate. So what we've done is respond to what the industry needed. But I would say it really started from Steve Shackleton, one of our programmers, and Greg Smith, kind of one of our secret weapon guys who's behind the scene. Greg has been responsible for a lot of amazing elements of the Helios 2 system, the Helios Pro system, our Marks and Sports, and I'll give you an idea of beacons and where this comes from. The years ago, we had the ability to actually know where everybody was at on an outdoor field with our Marks and Sports product. Now, we didn't use the same technology, but we used the same concept. And so in Marks and Sports, you could actually look at your phaser screen and see where your team members were located. Think like Aliens, the movie, right? But instead of seeing the aliens coming at you, you knew where your teammates were at, right? So that was a feature that we had years ago, and we really didn't do anything with it. It went into a product, but we never moved it to our indoor product. We had it in outdoor. So really, Greg kind of took off an idea, reformulated it using the technology that was already embedded into the boards, and so therefore we're able to create the Zone Alert proximity system. And the best part of it all is we are actually pushed it out to our operators. Well, we are pushing it out to the operators absolutely free. So any operator with Helios 2 or Helios Pro, they have the dual band Wi-Fi. But as long as they have the dual band Wi-Fi, they're getting this patch absolutely free, right? We even in a situation like COVID-19, we could not see any sense in charging for this software patch. We felt this was absolutely vital to their success, and so we rolled it out, for them.
Well, one of the interesting features about it is being able to trace player contact in the game and, if necessary, afterwards. And I'm wondering if you can go on about that and how that will work.
So without going too deep, again, it's all preliminary, it's all early stuff. We see a version of this, for example, laser fitness programs. We know operators are looking for other ways to enhance revenue, to make money in off times. We know what the calorie burns are for a game of laser tag. And the beautiful part of the zone alert proximity system is that it actually lets us know where the players are at and how fast they're moving. Using the accelerometer and using the beacon, we can actually create content for the operator or the player, to actually see how many, how far was their distance, how much did they walk or move in the arena, how many calories should they have burned based off of their gameplay. So we see, just one aspect of that. We have a lot of ideas. Some of them are not going to work. The problem with being an innovator is sometimes you come up with an idea that fails, but a lot of the ideas will actually work, and so we're pretty excited about that. We can see great applications in this with the zone alert proximity system. We can see greater applications, game contents, as I mentioned earlier, player participation. We can see membership is not required, but we will write stuff for members to add greater value to their membership program.
Works with Ozone. Could you explain a little about what that is and what systems are going to be compatible?
So Ozone is our way of solving one of the biggest problems in the laser tag industry, regardless of laser tag system. If they run on Windows, Microsoft, you gotta love them, but Microsoft will push out patches and not in any particular order. And so a lot of times when those patches from Microsoft Windows goes out, it resets IP addresses. And as more and more of our arena devices become wireless, or even when they're wired, they've got dedicated IP addresses. And so Microsoft patches would wipe out IP address, which would therefore wipe out a base working or a target working or a video enhanced base working or any number of our numerous arena devices. So when you are supporting almost 40% of the entire laser tag industry, a small thing by Microsoft creates a huge issue for tech support for us. So we developed the idea of switching over to a Linux box. It's a bladeless, is technically what it's called. I call it fanless, but a fanless, bladeless box that operates on Linux. And the beautiful part is that we can actually push out the patches, and our system is very much, all the alpha is tested within our R&D departments in Australia and China and Dover, Delaware. So we test all the alpha in those 3 offices. They all synchronize, they all communicate with each other on the alpha servers. Then we push it out in beta, and that goes out to the distributors. Now, QZR Toledo, by the way, I'll throw in, is an alpha location. We test things in alpha stage in Toledo. So I'll give you those 4 locations. But at beta, we then send it out to all the other distributors around the world. And combined, there's about 18 locations on the distributor beta level. Once it's been out on beta for about 2 to 3 weeks, and the distributors have had a chance to report issues, if any, then we can push it out to the operator that has the Ozone boxes. And so the beautiful part is that we can actually push the patch out after it's been properly tested, after it's been appropriately debugged, and we can then get it out to the operator. So the operator, it actually has a seamless integration. They don't even need to restart the machine. It just literally pulls it because it's all web-based software.
Going back to the 6-foot radius, I'm wondering, does that change at all the formula for how much arena space is needed to accommodate X number of players, or does simply the fact that many arenas will be limiting their capacity take care of that in and of itself?
Both, to be honest. So I had that question asked to me by a newspaper group earlier, and I'm going to say that we all forget that laser tag is actually designed for 125 to 150 square feet per player. So 6 foot per player, or 6 foot radius, per player, is actually really nothing compared to the way laser tag arenas are designed, and they're supposed to be played. So I don't see any significant changes in the industry. I had a client who emailed me that very question as well last week, and I don't see any changes in the laser tag industry for the design of arenas. We're already 125 to 150 square feet per player. But then I think we get into an area where the operator operating at 50% capacity actually then really creates 200 to 250 square feet per player, 300 square feet per player. So I think the operator needs to really promote the idea that laser tag is actually in a very large space for the number of people. You know, I mentioned I have arenas about 4,500 square feet. My Toledo location is 32 packs, so I'll run on 15 to 16 per game. My Avon location is 27 packs, so I'll run on 12 to 13, maybe 14 packs per game. But yet I can't reduce my arena size. So those 14 players in Avon are going to get 4,500 square feet. That's 320 some square feet per player, roughly. I mean, that's plenty of space.
So many things vary between state to state and different countries, but are laser tag operators getting any kind of consistent or standardized guidance about protocols for reopening or safety procedures once they do? And how much of that is really up to the operator's individual discretion?
So that's a fantastic question, and we have to walk a fine line. Zone Laser Tag is not a franchisor, right? We used to franchise. We still have our Ultra Zone franchise locations out there, but we are not a franchisor. So we have no legal authority to tell an operator how to do something, or even, really even strongly hint that they should do something. We did provide guidance at the very beginning, and in fact, our guidance for the equipment maintenance, cleaning, proper protocols, was picked up and actually run by the Bowling Proprietors Association for their reopening programs for their operators. So we've made it available to Replay Magazine. So we're, I think, the only laser tag manufacturer that took our guidelines for our 850 operators, and we provided them to the industry absolutely free and no cost. It's our way to, being the largest, we have a duty to lead the industry and to help guide every operator, regardless of laser tag equipment that they've chosen. So we issued those guidelines on how to maintain the equipment, how to clean the equipment, how to run let's call it I don't want to use the word sterile, but a disinfected environment. We, as a manufacturer, cannot tell an operator how to run their operations. Now, I say that, and then my lawyers will get mad on the next sentence that I say, which is, call me. I will tell you how I run my stores. And I've gotten a number of phone calls from a variety of different operators, regardless of system. As you know, and we've known each other a long time, I believe all boats rise with the tide. So if a Lasertron operator wants to call me, or Laser Force, or Delta, or Laser Runner, or whoever, it doesn't matter whose equipment. At the end of the day, we have to deal with, as I mentioned earlier, mask on the employees, hand sanitizers, Lysol wipes or sprays, UV wands. And by the way, that UV wand idea, that wasn't even my idea. That I got from Nathan, the managing director at Laser Quest Great Britain. He sent me the link to it, right? So we are exchanging out here in the industry. We are exchanging ideas back and forth. The Laser Tag Operators Facebook group has been very good about trading information. So if an operator wants to know how to get their operations back online, my recommendation would be to have them be on the Laser Tag Operators group on Facebook, and then call me.
In your opinion, what do you see as the immediate future for the laser tag industry?
Slow. It's going to be slow. There's going to be a certain amount of fear that still exists out there for groups. If it's not your immediate family and group, your immediate friend group that comes into laser tag, you're going to be concerned about playing with others. So it's going to be slow. Add to the fact that there's talk of another pandemic, coming around. That doesn't help matters any. And then also, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, we've now entered summer. Summer has historically and traditionally been slow. Our mutual friend, George Carter, the man who invented laser tag for all intents and purposes for us, even they had, Photon, had difficulties in creating sales in the summertime. So it has been an issue in the industry since it began. So we look at the fact that we're going to open in the summertime, which is the slowest time, and then we have all this media fear out there that is hyping things, and then we have the possibility that there may be a round two of this global pandemic resurgence. We're seeing the reports in certain states that it's rising. So I think it's going to be slow for laser tag operators for, I'm going to say, the next 6 months.
What about the long-term future of laser tag? How do you see this impacting?
I'm still positive. I'm still very positive on the long-term future of laser tag. we as a society have gone through, SARS and MERS and, flu syndromes and things like, we've gone through pandemics before as an industry. We've suffered through pandemics. So being optimistic is natural because we've gone through something similar, the old same but different concept, right? So I think, at the end of the day, we haven't seen an impact at virtual reality. Everyone's like, oh, virtual reality is going to have a impact on laser tag. No, it really hasn't. And then there was free roam virtual reality with the backpacks and the headsets, and they're going to hurt laser tag. No, it hasn't. So we've been pretty resistant to most of these issues that have popped up in the industry. Overall, I'm very positive for the laser tag industry.
Very good. Do you have any other final thoughts you'd like to share?
I appreciate the opportunity that you've given me, in this conversation. Zone's excited about the beacon system, the proximity alert system. We see so many things that we can do with it in the future. So we're excited about it. We're pleased that our team was able to put it together so quickly. I mean, the COVID issue really became huge in the United States, strangely, right after the laser tag convention in New Orleans. We all got out of New Orleans right before New Orleans turned into a fiasco with COVID. So if you think back that was roughly 12 weeks ago, if that, maybe 10 weeks ago, the fact that we were able to utilize technology, adapt it quickly, and then get it, pushed out to, our operators with the technology that we have. We're very excited about future elements that we're working on. We got more coming. I mean, that's without going into any great detail. And I showed you a few things off camera. We're not done. We have a list of stuff that we're rolling out. I know a lot of companies get a lot of more publicity than we do. We've been innovating and changing the industry so long that sometimes when we innovate, people don't really pay much attention to us. It's sort of like space shuttle launches. After the 26th one, no one really pays attention. After the 50th item, we introduced the laser tag industry. Remember, we introduced DMX lighting to the laser tag industry. We introduced, green lasers as standard on all packs to the laser tag industry, right? We introduced the accelerometer to the laser tag industry. So there's a lot of features that we've introduced that are now features that everybody uses and has. We got some really cool technology coming down the line that we pretty much should have by IAPA. So I appreciate you giving us this opportunity. We kind of take it for granted that we're going to just make an announcement, and most people are going to go, "Oh, Zone, yeah, they did something again." So we appreciate this platform for us to promote at least this one specific feature that is beneficial for players and operators both.
Well, I thank you very much, Eric, for taking some time to talk with me about it. It's Erik Guthrie, curator of the Laser Tag Museum and vice president of sales for Zone Laser Tag. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you very much.